Hello, this is day 17 of Aglow 30. All right. For the past 16 days, we've been examining different topics around the subject of devotion. And if you've been blessed by this, please do well to let me know. This is day 17, and I'll be talking very quickly on the topic be filled with the Spirit. This is another charge that I want to give you. Be filled with the Spirit. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 18 comes to mind when we talk about that topic. It says, be not drunk with wine wherein it is in excess, but be filled with the Spirit. My emphasis in on that statement, be filled with the Spirit. You see, the average Christian is praying to get filled with the Spirit. The average Christian, is asking God to fill them up. Lord, fill me. I don't like the way I am. I want more. I want to be filled with your Spirit. But Paul is not telling us this as a prayer request. He's giving us as an instruction. Be filled with the Spirit, because being filled is an intentional action you can take as a believer. Remember that we discussed in the earlier part of this series that in the old covenant there was a high priest and there was the sacrificial lamp and there was the altar, and then the high priest would put the sacrificial lamp on the altar, and as long as there was lamp or as there was sacrifice on the altar, the fire will come. In the new covenant, the Bible tells us that we are a royal priesthood, so we are the priest. And then the Bible now tells us in Romans chapter 12, verse 1, that we should offer our bodies as a sacrifice. So we are the priest and we are the sacrifice in the new covenant. And so we offer our bodies, and we are sure that when we put our bodies on the altar of prayer, there will be fire. Fire will come. You see, fire is a response to sacrifice on the altar. And so Paul is admonishing us, making us to know that being filled with the Spirit is not something that happens by chance. It's not something that you live up to God and angels. It's something you do by yourself. It's something you can consciously do by yourself. And what comes to mind is the exact comparison he draws in Ephesians 5:18 with the example of wine. You see, the same way nobody gets drunk by mistake is the same way nobody gets filled with the Spirit by mistake. I mean, you don't see anybody get drunk and say, oh, it was a mistake. I do not know how it happened. You took the first bottle or the cup, as it were, and then you took another one, and then you took another one. At some point, you got tipsy and kept on drinking till you got drunk. It's the same way you get filled with the Spirit. Nobody, my emphasis being on, nobody gets filled with the Spirit by mistake. Nobody sets themselves on fire by mistake. It's an intentional effort. There are structures, and in the next couple of days we'll talk about that. But there are structures you can put in place. What I want you to know is that your devotion life, your spiritual life is 100% your responsibility. And I think that should just sink very deeply in your mind. It's 100% your responsibility. What your devotion looks like now is what you want it to look like. It's not really about anybody. Oh, I'm not really that kind of person, and it's not about that. It's about what you want it to look like. And I don't know why I just feel stirred to say this. That just like in the old covenant, we see about Elijah, that Elijah was going to call down fire before the prophets of Baal, and he first poured water on the altar. Is that true? And so we now know that in the new covenant, because we are the priest and the sacrifice, that no matter how wet or how cold our altar has been, as long as we serve the God that answers by fire, there will still be fire. What it means is that no matter how long you have been cold, no matter how long you have been lethargic, no matter how bad your spiritual, the cobwebs in your prayer life, your secret place, whatever it is, you can gain back from. You can burn again. As a believer, you are born again, but in devotion, you can burn again. You can set yourself ablaze. And what I want you to know is that it's 100% your responsibility. And if it just helps, when it comes to regaining spiritual form, one admonition I want to put out here is that as much as possible, try to, you might have been in an extreme of lukewarmness and lethargy. One of the ways to balance out that extreme will be to go to another extreme of fervor, as it were, all right? Because sometimes balance is not 50-50. Sometimes balance is 100 on one side, so that it can create a structure. And, I don't have time to go into all of that. So it can create a system of actual balance, because you're already tilting terribly towards this. So you might have to go to tilt terribly towards this so that you can actually attain balance, as it were. And so you might have to go the extra mile than the average person. My emphasis for this video is that you should and you can be filled with the Spirit. It's something that is up to you. It's not something that is up to chance. It's not something that just happens. And so no matter how long you have been dry, no matter how long you have been lukewarm, no matter how terrible your prayer life has been, all this while, you can and you should be filled with the Spirit. It goes on to say that we should sing to one another, we should speak to one another, sorry, in psalms, in hymns, in spiritual songs, and we should make melodies to the Lord. These are many more different ways we can get filled with the Spirit. But the emphasis I want to drive into our minds is that the charismatic ministry of the believer is that you can set yourself on fire. You can be filled with the Spirit. Your devotion life is 100% your responsibility. And so your success in devotion starts with you taking responsibility for what your spiritual life looks like at the moment. This is day 17 of Aglow 30, and we spoke about be filled with the Spirit. If this blessed you, like this video, share with someone, subscribe to this channel, right? A part of it that blessed you, share on your social media. You can always do well to tag me to it. Please and please let this video reach as many people as it would bless, all right? Let it reach as many people. Be a media evangelist, all right? God bless you. Have a lovely day.